Hey, what's up guys? My name is Moda and welcome back to the Mining Stacker YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be May's ASIC pricing update. We're going to go through different prices of the most popular ASICs, kind of try to see where the price trends are going, seeing if they're going up, if they're going down, if any good deals are popping up, and see what things are looking like, right? So if that sounds good, guys, stay tuned, all right? So let's get to it. So we go through mine the ASIC just to get a quick peek at profitability, right? It's at a 10-cent kilowatt hour. Give or take, things are about the same as last month. Things are a little bit lower though, especially for those altcoin miners for like the KA3 and the K7. They are slightly lower, but they're hovering within that range. The yield is about the same as what it was last month. It's just the prices have been going down, so therefore the profitability in USD has been going down, right? But yields have actually, even with like the KA3, they've been about the same for almost 2 months now, right? Here they have you averaging about 16.8 KDA a day. Mine's been anywhere from like 17.3, 17.5 for the past like 2 months now, right? So overall pretty decent there. Same with the K7. I have the lower end model, the 58 terahash model. They have it listed at 3,400 and that's about spot on. That's what I've been getting for about the past 2 months now. So pretty much yield is about the same, as just the USD value is a little bit lower. But again, that's why you focus on your yield and go from there. Number one is still the L7. It's been doing its thing, man. It's been one of the most consistent earners, period, right? It's been consistently there, doing its thing. The only other standouts, that E9 Pro is still doing its thing also, man. It's been hovering between, depending on the price points, between $4 and $7 a day. But overall, solid, especially for that price. Very, very solid. Things are going to change slightly, though, over the summer, mainly because of this guy, that Jazz Miner, that X16Q, should be dropping here, I believe, next month, right? So this is shaking things up a little bit, especially if these prices kind of trend where they're going. It does look like the price is going down. There's a vendor here that has it for about 2,800, but we'll see if it continues, right? We'll see what the prices look like over the summer, because over the summer, especially these next 2 months, expect more announcements, especially from iPolo has been teasing things, so expect another ETC miner from them. We'll see if Jazz Miner drops anything other than this guy. Pretty sure they probably will, just because they announced the specs for this guy so far ahead of time. It's very likely that they'll release something there. Bitmain has their E9 Pro. My personal prediction with that E9 Pro, though, is that their way to like combat, to the way for them to stay competitive, is that they are very likely to probably lower their price, right? Kind of the speculation for me, at least, has been the reason for those lower end variants is to lower that price point, and that's how they can attack like Jazz Miner and such, because Jazz Miner does have them beat in the efficiency game, right? Pretty amazing stats on that. The main difference being is just that the E9 Pro, you get so much more hash. You're getting double the hash for about the same price, right? So right now in the bear market, though, efficiency is definitely good, but come the bull market, you're going to want that yield, right? And if you're going to earn twice as much with that E9 Pro, that might be a little bit more enticing, right? Again, depending on the price points, but we'll cover those here in a second. Overall price trends for some of the altcoin miners, the KA3 is stubborn as all heck. Does not want to drop below this range, right? Even some of the other vendors going through like, the little Telegram vendors and such, they're pretty much in this range still. Even with how much, the USD value of profitability has gone down, these things do not want to drop, right? So even if you're a Kadena bull, still wouldn't recommend doing it, only because it's still so far ahead of what the MSRP was, right? Yes, it's high now. It's because, honestly, I don't even know why. Because it seems like a lot of the vendors already have them readily available. I was going to say because there's pre-orders still, but no, if you go through a lot of the Telegram vendors, a lot of them are showcasing them and as in stock, right? As ready to go. And also, as you go on eBay and such, a lot of people are getting tired already. Those people, especially those people who made the huge mistake and bought them at like 12, 13,000, are trying to get out of the game, right? So if you go on eBay, there's a couple auctions in the $7,000 to $8,000 range. So they are becoming more readily available. They're just keeping them at this price point. But again, I would be wary, only because all it's going to take is for Bitmain to release another restock, right? And drop them at 5,000. Guess what's going to happen? These are going to drop down again, right? When these restocks will happen, we don't know. Could be sometime over the summer. Could be all the way until next year. We don't know, but just keep that in mind if you're thinking about getting one. It's pretty risky going in when it's this much higher over the MSRP. Same story with the K7. The reason the K7 pumped more though was because CKB did have a nice little run. Ultimately now it's down probably in the range where it should be. But the reason for this price was because of that pump. It's pretty much a half of what it was just like about a month ago, right? And that's the reason for the price here. Again, when the price runs up, these prices go up immediately, but it does take a long-term sustained downtrend for them to finally drop the price, or for Bitmain to dump a whole bunch of them on the market, right? Which could happen. Okay, again, this is another one that is very, very high over MSRP. I wouldn't suggest, even if you're going that route, to pay this much over, right? Some of the other vendors have started lowering their prices. BT Miner, a lot of their prices are kind of out of date. It seems like they're pretty much slacking on updating any prices. Also, their E9 Pro is about 3,300, and they haven't listed any of the lower end variants, right? So now let's check out some prices from some of the vendors, right? Some of like this is actually from Nhash. They actually decided to release a price sheet like this. They are a bigger store. I personally haven't used them. I know a lot of you guys have commented and have successfully used them. So just throwing it out there. This is just more for price comparisons and to see where trends are. The biggest standout here though is that D9. That Dash miner has just continued to go down well below the MSRP, right? Or at least the MSRP that was from Bitmain on launch. Okay, remember it came in at 9 grand. And as we speculated, kind of were thinking that it was more of like for them to test the market to see how things were going. And it was definitely way overpriced, and that's how it was received from the get-go, right? Initially, it looked not too bad because the profitability numbers were looking good, but now that everything has gone down quite a bit and the little increase in the hash rate, the difficulty, the profitability has gone down, right? We go on mine the ASIC. Let's see where it's at. It's number 11 now. It's about $550 a day, right? So that's not what you want to see from a $9,000 miner. So Nhash does have it now at, where'd it go? $46.99. So it's about half of what the original MSRP is. To me, I know some people have been asking about it. To me, it's still probably going to go lower, right? Essentially, that price has been in a free fall. Every month it's gone down consistently. And I would wait till we hit a bottom if it's something you're interested in. Me personally, I'm not really into Dash. Looking at the charts historically, it doesn't look like there's as much upside as at least as compared to a lot of these other altcoin miners, right? For the most part, everything else was pretty much on point. The other one that has gone down quite a bit, which is pretty surprisingly, are these Bitcoin miners, right? The reason I say it's surprising is because they're down, some cases lower than what they were back in like January and December when we were talking about them. And it's extremely surprising because we were at like 16,000 back then. We're at almost double now. And the prices are lower. Kind of weird, right? And this is specific to the Bitmain miners, right? And specifically with the XP. Okay, but even realistically, even the 104s, the regular J Pros have gone down also. And they did release a batch of these like lower tier models, right? Just straight S19s. They actually have them on here as well. The 82 terahash, the 86, and the 90. That 82 terahash model is freaking $700. $699. Crazy. Okay, is it really worth it though? Maybe not the 82. If anything, I would jump for like a 90 terahash model where you could probably overclock it. That's freaking $779. It's pretty crazy, right? But they do have the XP, the 141 terahash at $35.99, and the S19J Pro Plus, which was another weird one. But so the stats did get lowered. Initially, I think it was coming at 122. Now the higher end one is at 120, and they have them at $16.99, right? Which is pretty good. The other kind of standout is the E9 Pro, the higher end one, not the highest. I think they just released the 3780 model now, but this is the OG variant, the 3680, and they have it at $26.99. So that's going to be my guess, is that those lower end variants, especially that lower end one, you're going to see it anywhere from the $2,000 to $2,500 range. I would expect that as we get closer to the release of like the Jazz miner, and if iPolar releases anything, expect them to go down to that range, right? That's how they can remain competitive with them, is that it's a lot more hash. Yes, it's less efficient, but it's a lot more hash for less money, right? So that's going to be how they most likely combat it. Time will tell, not financial advice, is just kind of what I'm seeing, right? So for the XP, right, the Bitcoin miners, we're kind of trying to speculate, like, what is the reason for the price going down? Like, what's going on? Is it because there was some news with, some of the updates they did with the machinery? But what it seems like is actually happening is that these What's miners, the M50s, the M50Ss, and the M50S Pluses, are finally starting to really hit the market for us, being able to buy them one at a time, right? They've been on sale for quite a while, but, it's typically a little harder to get. The minimum order quantity sometimes is like 10, 20 plus. It seems like they're slowly making it out, especially that M50S Plus. To me, that one's the most intriguing. And the few vendors that have started to list them are listing them at very good prices. And it is very comparable to the XP. And if anything, it would probably be even preferred just because of the things going on with the XP right now, right? So now let's look at another sheet. So do they have the M50? Oh, they do have the M50. So the regular M50 here, so the 120 terahash model, it's at $18.99, right? So it's under $2,000. The M50S Pluses, we're going to see a vendor right now that has them. Let's take a look, actually. So this one, so this is the 142 terahash model, right? 3,408 watts. So it's slightly less efficient, but it's pretty much right on there for under 3,000, right? 2,860 bucks. So to me, this is the actual reason as to why that XP has been finally dropping. Because as we've, gone over in the past, it's been very overpriced in comparison to like the 104, the regular models, right? It's been extremely overpriced. You've been paying a very high premium to have that higher hash rate. But I think finally what now is forcing them to come down is the fact that these are starting to become available, right? So if anything, these would be the ones to kind of keep your eye on. Hopefully other vendors will start getting them in stock. Haven't really heard of Exxon Mining. Try to do a little digging. Apparently they've been around. They are going to be at Mining Disrupt. They do have a booth there, so that does give a little more credibility. We'll see what happens at this Mining Disrupt conference. It's going to be a good one. If any of you guys are in the area, going to be probably a lot of news coming out, right? If iPolo and Jazz Miner don't talk about it prior, I would expect if anything they have in the pipeline will probably get debuted here. That local tech USB thing is supposed to be debuted here, so a lot of cool stuff happening there. So let's look at some more price sheets. So this is from Unistar Miner. Again, not shilling or promoting these guys. I haven't bought from them, wouldn't buy from them. Again, it's just to get more price trends. So we kind of see the same thing. They also have the M50. They have the 120 terahash model at 1,800 bucks, right? The D9, they actually have it listed at 4,500, and they have the lower end E9 Pro at 2,500, right? So expect to see those prices come down, especially as these other big box stores start getting them in stock, right? There's been kind of weird issues as far as like shipping goes with them. They were supposed to ship last month, but even on here, they have them as on the way yet, so they don't even have them in stock yet, right? And it's been kind of the same story with like the S19J Pro Pluses. They were supposed to release like back in February, right? In some cases, people are just really now starting to get them, freaking so many months later. So interesting stuff there. And we'll go over something interesting too with those Pro Pluses, because quite a few things have changed and they just kind of snuck the changes in there. So we'll talk about that here in a second. So here's the M50S again. This is under $2,000 from one of the vendors on here. So again, I think this is in reality a big reason why those XPs actually have been dropping, right? Even from like a bigger box vendor, so altertech.io, which I have purchased from. I did buy a power supply from them. Seemed legit. Very fast shipping. Like ordered it and I think it shipped like that same day. It's pretty crazy, but they have the M50S, the 128 terahash model at 2,800 bucks, right? So these are slowly starting to seem like they're becoming in stock. So just keep your eyes open because I've only heard good things from them, right? As far as like reliability, durability, especially in high heat areas, these things have been regarded as tanks, right? So just something to keep in mind there. So here you go with the S19J Pro Pluses again. So again, even from bigger box stores, they're in this price range, which is kind of interesting, right? Especially because of the fact that BTC's been going up. You would think that these guys would go up, including the like 104 models, any of those. Again, they've actually been going down, which is very, very surprising. But again, I think a lot of it has to do with those What's miners. And we'll see. We'll see how it ends up going. So some interesting tidbits on this guy. One was the main appeal, like when they did that little advertisement for it when it first debuted back in December. The main appeal with this guy was supposed to be on top of the hash rate. It was supposed to be the power supply. The big, marketing gimmick was that it was going to be a like single plug, like more, catered towards like data centers or whatever. I don't even remember the name of the plug. So that's why when it was first coming out, I was like, I don't even care about it, because that's what it was geared towards, right? It wasn't necessarily advertised as being, oh, it's going to be, a better model, whatever. It was just that appeal that it was going to be able to use like in a data center essentially, right? And this is the little video. If you zoom in, you can kind of see the little power supply unit here. It's hard to tell on there, but that was supposed to be the main appeal, but they did change it. It's actually a regular C13 plug, right? So that was interesting there. The other weird thing is that the heat sinks, right? So again, from Alter Tech, shout out to them. They did post a video when they got theirs in, that it does have the older style heat sinks, right? From the S17s that were notorious for coming loose, meaning those like individual heat sinks, right? So the reason they were notorious is they were notorious for falling off, especially in shipping, that they would fall off and give the miner a little shake and it would rattle like crazy. So they did bring them back for whatever reason here. Interesting choice. I wonder if that had anything to do with delays, if they had trouble sourcing the other components, or same thing with the power supply. Because it did seem weird that it got delayed so much and that it just ended up coming out with this power supply. Which again, the main appeal, that little hype video they did was all regarding that connector. And for them to just ditch it without even like saying anything was kind of interesting, right? So just some things to note there. I know a lot of people were disappointed when they saw this, but time will tell on how those do. Interesting changes with the hash boards, right? But again, might be better than the crap we've seen from like the XP going to those aluminum hash boards, or the aluminum PCBs, I should say. But we'll see. Time will tell on durability there. Again, this summer we'll really find out how much of an issue that is. But again, I think those What's miners are definitely starting to look way more and more appealing as the time goes, right? So the other big bit of news with ASICs is regarding the L7s, right? Regarding the script miners, specifically from Bitmain. We did see these clearance auctions. We did see that first one for that 8800 model. And everybody thought that, oh, it was just going to be that one. It was just a one-time thing. They're discontinuing that one. And then they did one for the 9050. And like, oh, okay, maybe it is a clearance. And now here's another one. Here's one for the 8550. So in case you weren't convinced before, again, like I've mentioned since that first one, or since even before that, they're giving us all the hints that an L9 is coming. And as of a couple weeks ago, Badgerland Home Crypto Mining, so badgerlandcrypto.com, did pull up a pre-order for the L9. They did list some stats on here, 16.2 gigahash, so about double for about the same wattage, for 3,258 watts. Is that going to be exact? We don't know yet, right? There's no actual confirmation of it. Could it be in this ballpark? Yes, right? To me, this seems like a reasonable upgrade. The price is probably about what it's going to be. If not higher, we'll see. We'll see what the shipping timeline is. But it does coincide. There has been a lot of rumors going from like the bigger farms or the bigger distributors that there's a possible L9 coming in the fall. And a lot of people, threw this out there as, oh, it's a scam site. Don't believe it or anything. If any of you guys have gone on Voscoin's forum board, Voscoin Talk, he's been a community member on there for quite a while, ever since I started going on there. So haven't bought from him, haven't ordered from him, but he is a very active community member in the mining scene. If you go on there, he's very active on there. You see him on there. He has been around. He has sold to many, many people. He does have a site. He does have things. So he probably does have some good insight there. Again, as far as these being 100%, we don't know. When will it come out? We don't know either. But again, everything has been lining up that it's going to come out sometime this fall, right? So wouldn't necessarily pre-order from here, but there is some credibility to this website, right? Again, if you go on Voss Coin Talk, you'll see them there. I post on there occasionally, and I do scroll through there every once in a while, right? So there is some validity there. And those prices have been dropping as well. Let's go back to this Unistar Miner. Let's go to the L7s. So you can see even here, they have those 8550s down to like right above 4,000. So $4,080, right? They have the 8800 at 4,200, the 9050 at 4,400. So those prices are definitely continuing to go down. We'll see how low they go, right? Especially as soon as this L9 does get, officially announced, expect those to go down even lower. And especially if, this local tech thing does happen, which we're going to find out in about 2 months. And the rumor mill has that Jazz Miner is going to release one as well. And there actually is another one. I just saw, I think it was Tech Hustler did a video on, there's another script miner coming out from a smaller, lower end company. But there is a lot of script miners coming out. So expect these prices to possibly continue to fall, just depending on what the specs are. Again, this summer, hopefully, we will get a lot of updates. It seems like there's a lot of stuff coming out in the pipeline, and a lot of it's probably going to get announced this summer, right? So pretty cool times there. But overall, price-wise, though, the biggest thing has been that Dash, that D9, that just continues to drop, right? If you're interested, keep your eye on it, right? Even if it drops down to 3K, for me, it's not even one I'd look at. If anything, I'd be more interested in buying an E9 Pro. Like out of all the ones I've listed or talked about, that would be intriguing. If the L9 does exist, that would be the one I would probably try to eye, right? Just because, the pumponomics, Doge is super popular. It's super inflationary. So even with the difficulty and everything going up, and the LTC having, again, Doge is your primary breadwinner anyway. So chances are it's going to do well there regardless. But yeah, guys, keep your eyes open. Again, hopefully this summer we do get a lot of news. Over the coming weeks, we'll probably start hearing more and more, right? These guys are going to start talking about it, and we'll see what's up, right? Because that's going to be Bitmain's answer, is to lower the prices. And again, all this other competition is good. That's the reason I think the Z9 Pro prices are going down. That's the reason we're getting an L9 right now instead of later, because realistically, the best time for them to do it is wait another freaking year into the bull market and sell that thing for 50K, right? But because of all this competition, it's forcing them to bring it out earlier, and therefore we can get it at a cheaper price, right? So competition, regardless of who it comes from, is always good for us as the consumer, right? But again, pay attention to who you're buying from, especially if it's a smaller, unknown manufacturer. Just keep in mind that of what you can get, right? Be open to the possibilities of it possibly not working all the way, or for you to have to tinker with it. Again, if you order from something from like Bitmain or IB-Link or Gold Shell, typically it'll be a much higher quality, but just keep in mind if you are ordering anything like that, right? So again, guys, I'll keep you posted if I hear anything, see anything. Kind of waiting for more official announcements. I've been hearing a lot of rumor mill stuff, but I'm waiting for more official things to come out. If I hear anything official, I'll keep you guys updated. All right, guys, so please comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, guys, and I am out.